is Peter Nyette. I'm a Kenyan person living with epilepsy. It is now my 33rd year living with epilepsy. It has been a journey both with many challenges and also some positive aspects of the same. The first time I was diagnosed with epilepsy, I didn't even know what that was. I had never heard of it. And the doctor, I remember telling my parents that I would have to take medication for around 3 years. Then maybe after that I would get healed. So for me it didn't matter about people's reaction, whatever people said about it, I didn't care. For me all that used to be on my mind is about the 3 years. And I was really counting these 3 years. So after 3 years were over and I was still on medication, I was still getting seizures, I now started becoming concerned and I decided to do some research about epilepsy. And that's where I discovered that I may have to live a lifelong with it. But I guess by this time I had already started adapting to it. I'd gotten used to how people respond to my situation. But fast forward, after I finished school, I joined college and I was doing hotel and catering management, after which I went for an industry attachment. And while on attachment, I got a seizure. And at this hotel, a very famous hotel in Kenya, they just told me that they could not keep me any longer because I may spoil the institution's name. And for the first time in my life, I really cried because of having epilepsy. I had never felt that way before. Even today when I remember that day, sometimes I just feel like shedding tears. But it continued. I left that hotel and I went and I was taken into another hotel. Surprisingly, I finished 6 months industrial attachment. After the attachment, they employed me. But one time I had now to go for my regular checkup to my doctor. And when I asked for leave, they really wanted to know what was the reason that took me to hospital. And when I didn't disclose, they just decided to do their own research behind my back, and they got to know about it. And the next thing, I was told that I could not fit into that hotel environment, they could not keep me. And from that moment, I asked myself, for how long will this continue? It felt bad, and I realized that maybe I may have even to change career. Hotel may not be the best place for me. And when I decided to leave, I got now into my own business. I started doing video and photography. I was a videographer, taking photos at events, which now helped me to pay for school fees, where now I went and studied counseling psychology. And out of that now, I became a counselor because I really felt the need to help people who are going through what I'm going through. I started identifying very much with people who are going through various issues, and it helped me, one, just gain some self-awareness, to be more assertive in my life, not to be controlled by other people's opinions. And to me, I always tell myself, my life matters, but your opinion does not define who I am. And from there, I've been helping people, I've been supporting people who need any kind of psychological support, particularly in relation to traumatic issues and traumatic incidences and loss and grief. I've also been there now for people who are living with epilepsy, particularly people who are growing up, so that they do not pass through what I passed. They also should not come up into life without social skills, knowing how to handle stigma, because stigma is not something that we can just wish away. I can assure you for years to come it will still be there, but you can overcome it. You can be the one now in this life showing people that even if there is stigma, that stigma won't put you down. In fact, you'll even benefit from it. And today, even as I talk to you, as I share with you, there are so many positive things that have come up as a result of it. In fact, the current job I hold, my designation is a project coordinator. I got it because of sharing about my condition, and also just showing people that despite the condition, you can still be able to achieve in life. I have been able to benefit from other government initiatives because of my condition. For example, I do not pay tax here in Kenya. I'm tax exempted because of it. And at times I even ask myself, if my epilepsy today was not there, would I be where I am today? Probably not. It's something that really need to ask. But on the other hand, the stigmatization is so much. First, there is the internalized stigma. When a person perceives themselves not to be capable enough, it's really a problem. Then there is the interpersonal stigma, which now comes from the people around you. They'll always be talking about it. People's perception of epilepsy and the issue that they see is like a witchcraft. It is a haunted disease or the sacred disease. So you wonder, when will people's perception change? And we really need to do a lot of self-awareness in relation to this. Then there's the institutionalized stigma, particularly from institutions that offer services to people with epilepsy. For example, like insurance companies, they will not want to offer any insurance cover because they feel that you're going to be more of a liability to them. It's a real problem. But as I talk this day to all of you, I just want to encourage you, if you're living with this condition, you can make it in life. You can make it. If I've come all this way, you also can. You only need to be assertive, need to always be telling yourself something positive every day, that I'm going through a challenge, but I know I will make it. There is nothing that is impossible without epilepsy. Come and let us be able to do some self-awareness, create awareness around it so that every person may be able to know how to handle a person with epilepsy. We may be able to know how to fit into society, and most of all, we may be able to achieve our goals in life. Thank you for taking that time even just to listen to me.